My subscribers sent in their Minecraft builds so that myself and one other pro builder could upgrade them to the max. From the hundreds of submissions, we've handpicked these 10 builds that'll get the ultimate makeover. Each round we'll be making the builds bigger and bigger and the upgrades more and more extreme. Got it? Okay, round 1. Thankfully, Gray and I had a pretty smooth ride with this first build, which was this stump. Of the 10 selected builds, Gray and I each chose 5 that we would be taking the lead on. One round's going to be led by him, and the next round's going to be led by me. After we had reshaped the log and I'd made a few more mushrooms, I spent most of my energy adding to whatever Grayson put down. This was his round after all. I was just there to expand on his ideas. We were able to crank it out in just a couple hours, and the outcome was amazing. 1 down, 9 to go. The next upgrade was this tavern that was sent in by Max. This time, it's my turn to lead the build. So here's the plan. Gray's going to be starting with the roof and working his way down to the foundation, and I'll be doing the opposite. This way, every part of the build gets edited twice, and we won't be stepping on each other's toes. I started off by giving a little bit more detail to the foundation. Once that was done, I decided to add in a wooden deck to wrap around the base. It'll break up some of these flat wall sections. Meanwhile, Grayson started to revamp the roof, but when he did, he discovered something unsettling.
Shovel!
What?
Look!
Huh?
Even numbers!
Who would do such a thing?
Think I'm gonna be sick.
Okay, I might have milked the drama there, but having a single block center makes things way easier. Thankfully, with just a couple commands, it was a pretty quick fix. With that sorted, Grayson focused on texturing the roof, while I went back to the detailing. I added an extra bit hanging off to the side, and then I reworked a lot of the trim. With a little bit more detailing on the outside, I was ready to move on to the inside. This tavern was built for a civilization event, and its clientele are mainly pirates and bards. So there's obviously going to be a bar and a bunch of tables, and a stage for the bards to play. The second level is mainly just rooms for rent, so I just did a quick renovation to clean up some of the mess from all of our commands. After a few more finishing touches, looks like it's done. Since these builds are mostly survival builds, I tried the next round in hardcore, just for fun. But then, this happened. Uh-oh. No! Did you see that? My frames dropped like crazy there. Stupid Chrome taking all my power. Oh, okay, well. Still, this is your fault, you should have warned me. So I switched to Opera GX, the sponsor of today's video. With Opera GX's CPU and RAM limiting tools, that's not going to happen anymore. And with its quick import tool, I won't lose any bookmarks, browser history, anything. It doesn't just solve performance problems, it adds a ton of new tools for easy access. Over here I've got ChatGPT at the ready to help me brainstorm. I can customize pretty much anything. In the GX store, there's a ton of mods that change the entire browser. Sound effects, wallpapers, everything. It's even got this Minecrafty background music. And if I don't like it, one click and it's gone. Personally, I feel like I don't spend enough time in Minecraft, so this is a good way to make me feel at home when I'm not building. What's up? It's a free way to support the channel. If you download it from my link in the description, Opera sees me do a good job. I can hire an editor and make videos faster, because everything you're seeing right now, it's all me, baby. Huge thanks to Opera GX for sponsoring today's video. Use my link to download Opera GX today. Back to building. These first two were easy mode. I had to exercise some self-restraint during these first two builds, but with each new creation, that limit's gonna gradually fade away. Here, this next round's a good example. This build was sent in by Steve Wolf. But you might notice it's a little. Look at the little guy. So here's the plan. We're gonna make it bigger, a lot bigger. And we're gonna make the house on top a lot more complex. To polish it off, we're gonna add steampunk elements like gears and machinery. Let's get started. I began by shaping the hull, but Grayson, well, he had his own technical difficulties. All right, buddy?
Nah, don't worry about me, Shovel.
All right, deuces. Truth be told, this part's more of a one-man job anyway. Have you ever tried building a ship? If you have, I bet about 20 minutes in you realized, oh crap, this is a lot harder than I thought it was gonna be. Don't worry, you're not alone. But to save time, I will tell you the ultimate tip on how to build the perfect boat right here. You ready? Practice. Sorry, but there's not really a cheat code for this. Unless... Oh, yeah, that's nothing. Worth a shot. Making curved organic shapes is one of the hardest things in building. It might look easy when it just materializes in a video like this, but I've got a graveyard of abandoned ships from when I first started. If you want to build like this, do yourself a favor, practice in creative first. You're going to save yourself a lot of time and heartache. Alright, I'm liking that shape. With the hull finished, Gray could finally hop in and lend a where to go. Well, guess I'm on my own. I think we need a little bit more up top. And now the middle looks really empty. Alright, perfect. I love that house. Yeah, I'm gonna have to redo that whole freaking hall, aren't I? Tomorrow.
Get up.
What? Hey, how long have you been there?
I'm a figment of your imagination?
Uh-huh.
Don't worry about it. Get up. It's time to build.
Hold up a second. If you're on my head, how do you still have dad breath? With the both of us on board, day 2 was a breeze. I revamped the hull again, while Grayson sprinkled in the fine details. As things started to come together, I started adding in more of the mechanical bits. Grayson even added in this awesome telescope up front to really sell it.
Hey, Shovel.
Yeah?
Is this telescope accurate? You think maybe you could do some research?
What? No, it's fine.
Come on. Could you please just look into it?
After some quick texturing and some more details, this is what it looks like. This is a huge upscale, but I love the way that turned out. That really looks straight out of a Ghibli film. I honestly thought that this was going to be my favorite upgrade of the bunch, but the next one blows this houseboat out of the water. Did you get that joke? Because it's a boat and it's in the water. The next upgrade was this church that Grayson chose. It was this really cute cathedral with a birch tree growing right through it. Gray took the lead on the structure, and I was in charge of making a much larger version of the birch tree. I spent a really long time smoothing and texturing it, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. It looks great when it's all put together. There's a lot more to tell you about this build, but if you want to see the full story, you're gonna have to watch Grayson's video of this project over on his channel. On to the next round. When this submission landed in my inbox, it almost got lost in the shuffle. But then I read the story behind it. This is Golden Mammon's first ever Minecraft world, and he lost it to a broken Xbox. This is just a recreation of one build he lost, and to me, that hit home. Think back to your very first Minecraft world. I remember mine like it was yesterday. I was 13. I must have clocked 100 hours exploring, mining, farming, but my crowning jewel was the very first house that I ever built. It looked like this. Alright, I'm just kidding. To be honest, it was a bit of a mess. But it was mine. That world's where I fell in love with Minecraft. The game that's now my job. And I freaking lost it! Years later, the old PC was long gone and no backups could be found. I hadn't visited it in ages, but the loss still stung. The world was just gone. But for Mammon, I have this chance. A chance to take his lost world and breathe new life into it. So let's get started. Looks like this build has 2 major components, the treehouse and a blacksmith below. This upgrade is going to look a lot different from the original, but I wanted to keep its soul. I started out shaping and smoothing the main tree while Grayson established a style for the house. We wanted it to have a thatched villager type look, so Grayson went for a bamboo pallet. Unfortunately, while he was plugging away on the houses, I was facing some major roadblocks with the tree. Let me explain. Minecraft builds that are sculptures, not structures, are called organics. They're the mark of a truly skilled builder. I'm okay at them, but I'm still pretty much a rookie. I know enough to see that something's wrong, but not really how to fix it. I don't know how some of these builders do it. It's like the build speaks to them. After 4 hours of painstaking effort smoothing out the branches and baking in the texturing, the tree was pretty much as good as I could get it. It could always be better, but I was happy with it. Until Grayson pasted in the treehouse. Ooh.
The tree's a little small.
4 hours of work directly and promptly flushed right down the crapper. Oh, I was gonna have to redo everything. What the?
What's up?
You didn't hear that? It was like a note. There it is again.
No, I don't hear anything, man. I think you've been smoothing that tree line. It's starting to make your brain go all fuzzy. I mean, I can take over if you need a break.
Actually, hold on. I got it. It wasn't a complete loss. We just needed to make some smaller versions of the houses and then add a few more branches. And the large house didn't need to be scrapped either. It worked perfectly on the ground as the blacksmith. Then just a few more hours of connecting the houses with bridges, putting in the leaves, and... Ooh, yeah, that's too dark. One sec, I'll get it. After just a couple minutes of punching holes through the canopy, it was finally done. It's looking incredible. I honestly think that this is my favorite one so far. So, Mojang, if you ever need a couple of treehouse builders for, say, I don't know, a jungle village, you know where to find us. This build took me back, man. It reminds me of all of those builds I made years ago on Instagram, back when I first met Grayson. A little story I've never really shared about Gray. He started out as a viewer, just like you. He commented on every video for months, and before I knew it, I was teaching him how to build. That was almost 2 years ago, and now, just look at him. He's pursuing content creation full time. He's got his sights set on YouTube, so do yourself a favor, go check out Grayson's channel. Hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you're gonna wanna say that you were part of this journey from the start. And just like that, the tower shaped up nicely. That's a really good upgrade. It took a while, but that's not really a big deal. The next build hardly took any time at all. The next upgrade was sent in by Person321, a member on the public bakery server. And oh my gosh, this is nuts. Dude, look at this portal. This build's already pretty good, but it can be improved. First of all, this portal isn't functional at all. It's way too big. The max size for a nether portal in vanilla Minecraft is 23 by 23 blocks. But it's a square, not a circle. Unfortunately, the laws of Minecraft physics dictate that every nether portal needs to be a square. But I've got a workaround. I'm going to build a circular frame around it on both sides. It'll give the illusion that it's circular. Hey, nice. That's actually pretty convincing. And now that that's done, Gray and I can start work on the fun part, the Torii Gate. I'm not sure if it was the size, shape, or style, but this build was a walk in the park. You know that feeling you get when you're really into something and the rest of the world just falls away? And then you look up at the clock and hours have passed? That's what was happening right here. Grayson's very focused on making things survival friendly, so he normally doesn't build on this type of scale. He was a little out of his element here, but he said that watching me was like watching a fish in water. In a few short hours, we had produced a pretty stellar looking Torii Gate. And this is probably my favorite portal that I've ever built. Look at this. Well, maybe my second favorite, but this one's actually functional, I think. The real test is going to be if it actually lights up in survival. Because these, yeah, they're just blocks. So I brought it over to a survival world unlit to test it. But first, we gotta get up there. Should be simple enough. Ooh. First try. And here we go, just light it up and... Aha! One of the coolest functional portals out there. I wonder if this is gonna work with this mod that I saw. Oh, holy cow, it does. Whoa, that's cool. Man, I wish I knew this mod existed before. It's called Immersive Portals mod, look it up. I felt a little bad for Grayson though. He had felt completely out of his wheelhouse. And I didn't even slow down to point him in the right direction. I'll make it up to him on the next build, and I'll let him take the lead. Gray might have been a little out of his element on the portal, but this house was his bread and butter. Even though we started from scratch, Gray and I have built hundreds of houses just like this. After a while, doing these kinds of builds kind of just feels like second nature. Pretty quickly, Gray found his rhythm again, and in just a few hours, we had absolutely nailed it. That win set us up perfectly to tackle Grayson's final project, which was this castle. This project was a bit of a slow burn, but Gray had a master plan, so I was all in. My task? Giving this building right here a facelift. I knocked it out in just a few hours, and by that time, the rest of the castle had been finished by Gray and our other friend Vahan. Then, pretty quickly, I whipped up a bit of terrain, and then I pasted in the castle pieces. I added my finishing touches with a bridge and a bit of texture, and then Grayson took over to wrap things up while I moved on to the next upgrade. I saved the absolute best for last. This pyramid was sent in by Santi. Sandy? Santi? We're gonna go with Sandy, since, you know, pyramid. Santi was inspired by my map building series to create their own fantasy world, only this one's built in survival. They wanted to see what the potential of this build could be with it in my hands. And fear not, dear Santi, I shall give you a pyramid fit for gods.
Don't go overboard, Shovel. Survival friendly.
Man, why you gotta take the fun out of everything? Alright, I might not be able to go overboard, but this can still be epic and survival friendly. In fantasy worlds, immersivity is key, so we need to look at the actual pyramids. They're remembered because of their size and the improbability of their existence. They're epic, but this one is too small to be as imposing as the real ones. So I'm going to try and upscale it to give it a little bit of that effect. There's literally a pyramid generation command in World Edit, so I thought I could just bang this thing out in a day or two. This was going to be an easy build. Yeah, that didn't happen. Turns out, it's a lot harder to make a pyramid look cool and original while still making it look like a pyramid. It's basically just a big triangle. I had to find something in the middle of all of that, and that was probably the toughest thing to achieve. First, I tried this weird Triforce thingy. It's not there yet. Guess I gotta try harder. And then I tried giving it a magical shattered top, but it didn't really look like a pyramid. 3 days into the build, and I felt like I had made absolutely zero progress. It looked okay, but this was the last upgrade. It didn't really give off that epic feel.
I think it's too small.
Too small, you say?
Feels a little underwhelming for the last one.
No shovel! Survival friendly!
Let's go with survival possible.
No! You're a bad influence on him.
Yeah.
Fear not, dear Sandy. I shall give you a pyramid fit for gods. This is the last build I'm doing. Level 10. Even if it kills me, I'm gonna make that pyramid into its most epic version. But it will probably be really hard to build in survival. You're cool with that, right? You know what? Forget I asked. I'm not going to water it down this time. The first pyramid was 75-ish blocks tall, but I'm going to triple that number. I'll just add some more platforms and staircases to add a little bit of depth. And since I spent 3 days on the first pyramid, I repurposed it to serve as a pretty ornate entrance. It felt different this time. My energy was starting to return. I was still facing a lot of the technical issues I was having with the other one, but this time the inspiration trumped the obstacles. I was following my vision. Speaking of which, I've got a moral dilemma here. I want to add in a bunch of these luminescent blocks to make a glowing stained glass window, but I hear that blocks like frog lights might be a little tough to acquire in survival. Not exactly practical, but it is possible. Sorry, Sandy. The next few days were a blur. I originally thought that this pyramid was only going to take me a couple days, tops, but it ended up taking me an entire week. But it was completely worth it. I got the shaping and detailing all done, and it was looking sweet. Only thing missing was some texturing. I decided to make some patterns along the walls, and then I moved on to renovating the interior. This is just going to be pretty bare bones stuff. I'm going to be doing the floors, walls, and ceilings. I want Sandy to be able to adapt this themselves. I like this so much I might even fit it into my adventure map. Speaking of which, if you follow the map building series, I always want your lore ideas in the comments. Pause the video here for some information on how this pyramid fits into the world to get started. Your idea might even show up in a future video. It took me a full day to clean up the interior and deck it out, but with the interior cleaned up, I could step back and truly take it all in. This is epic. It might be a stretch to build this one in survival, but Sandy, I'll send you both versions of this build and you can use them however you like. Huge thanks to everyone who sent in their builds for consideration. We could not have done it without you. Make sure you go watch Grayson's video on his channel after this one. Thanks for watching.